My name is TotalBiscuit of the WoW podcast, Blue Please on CynicalBrit.com. Welcome back to our strange Goblin arcane adventures. The last time we saw our intrepid hero, she had been, well, I suppose conscripted into the service of Archmage Xylem, who seems to have got a little bit batty in his old age, and we've been given a set of tedious quests in order to prove our worth. Thankfully, things do get better after this, which is not an interesting selection of things, I must say. Trust me, it does get better, honest. Yes, well. Those of you wondering why I haven't been doing Worgen lately, I've been playing catch-up. Oh god, lag. Ow, my face. Or indeed legs. The Worgen gained a bunch of levels, as you might have noticed in the Dead Mines video. So the Worgen's like level 20, I believe. So I've been trying to get them back up to the same level so I can continue. And I'm also trying to decide whether or not to, 1, continue with Darkshore, or 2, go on to, I believe, Duskwood would be the next area. I don't know if there's any major plot revelations to see at the end of Darkshore, because I did the major big thing, and then it said go down to the south of it, so I don't really know. I'm trying to figure that out. If anyone does actually know, by the way, and I'm not asking for suggestions, more of a case of, have you, in the beta, done Darkshore? Is there anything big and interesting past the Eye of the Vortex quest line? Because if not, I'll move on to another area. And if so, I'll finish off there. And even though everything's probably green and grey to me by now, thanks to the leveling in the Dead Mines. I really don't know why the Dead Mines actually leveled me so much. And everyone in there gained at least 3 levels, some 4. It's ridiculous. I don't know if that was a bug or not. Anyway, this is your brand new equivalent of Consumed by Hatred, which you might recall from the old Barons, which involved getting a lot of Quillboar tusks. This involves getting a lot of Hippogriff feathers to make the Goblin a brand new robe, because he's not feeling at home. Oh, bless him. What you also have to do is grab these Ire Time. I don't know, Living Ire Time. These actually give you a buff, which is also a debuff. You take 20% more damage, but you deal 20% more damage as well. You can stack this up to a fairly ridiculous amount, which will involve you one-shotting things if you pop an ambush or whatever. The problem is, it's really hard to see these things. As you see, I've got ground clutter on maximum here, and these time are the same color as the terrain, which is not all that great. They're also not that large either, so finding these is a bloody nightmare. They don't seem to be all that common around this area, and the quest border says that they could be anywhere within a, 500-meter square radius, which is a bit of a pain. You'll also run into these Night Elves because you're quite close to the Darnassus base camp in this area. They're not all that threatening, but they will impede your progress. Aside from that, we have to find a stone giant, who unfortunately is not willing to give us his valuable natural resources. Right in the corner there, just going around the ridge. We have to use a delicious arcane mine in order to scare him and blow off a little bit of his hide. At least I assume it's his hide and not another bloody poop quest. If it is, I'm just going to pretend that it's his hide, because really, I just can't take it anymore. I'm mad as hell. There are no shortage of hippogriffs, though, that I can tell you for a fact. The more of that time you get, the better, but bear in mind they will still hit you really hard as a result of the debuff, so try and get the first hit in with something big, and hey, you might be one-shotting things, and you'll feel like a boss. We need to get 1 more of those, maybe. The number of feathers you get from each varies. It's quite nice that you get multiple feathers, but really, I'm looking at that hippogriff and I'm seeing an awful lot more than 5. But hey, I will suspend my disbelief. Reminds me of that quest in Deathspank, actually, where you have to get a bunch of spider eyes, and I believe they drop 8 every time. And I felt good about that. Like, that is the only RPG that's ever dropped a realistic number of items in the quest. Okay. Now, this arcane charge that you see right here can be set in the path of that big stone giant. Once you do that, you will get loot. Big rocks fall off. They fall off. It is not a poop quest. I feel bad even saying that word. So vulgar. Yes, my British sensibilities do not allow it. Detonate. There we go. He's not happy about that, is he? Now, he will actually drop all 5 here. You only have to ever do this once. And it's not hard to find ways walking. Oh, look, it's this big, obvious path. There we go. It's not challenging enough. They must buff it. I'm just saying this to annoy you now, by the way. It's a great troll. It makes people really, really mad. Okay. Now, we need to find the rest of that time. And you know what? I'm not going to show you that, because it's really boring. Suddenly, the boredom fades into nothingness, and we can hand that one in. Once you hand these in, things start to get a little bit more interesting. Nice level as well. Bear in mind, you get a talent point every other level now, for those wondering why I have so few. As regards to what's useful on this tier, well, aggression, really. I don't have slice and dice yet, so there's no point in me taking improved in that. And the other stuff is, well, fairly situational, not all that useful for us right now. Oh god, a weapon upgrade, finally! I've been using these same weapons for the last 5 or 6 levels, at least. Oh yes, darling. Good god. The nightmares. Now, you know what, I really should just install a bag mod, honestly. I can use this equipment manager to easily equip another weapon, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem. We'll put it in the main hand. We've got a nice quick axe in the offhand. Should do the job. Wunderbar. My goblin is looking even more ridiculous, and look at that. Excellent stuff. Let's equip the int offhand. Could use a little bit more smarts. There we go. Now, something good, I hope. Yes, this is actually really entertaining. It doesn't sound entertaining, but it is. It's actually quite funny, and you'll see why. The art team must have had a real kick out of this quest.
What can I do for you?
Archmage Xylem, what would you like me to do? Okay, kill 12 Lagash demons by using a personal arcane assistant to turn them into insects. Point Buggyfy, oh lord. That's why this guy gets more and more deranged every time I speak to him. And so we get this little personal arcane assistant, and we can use his abilities right there to cast. That's the only thing he can do. He can polymorph, and he can also return to base camp. Why you'd want to do that, I don't really know. It doesn't return you to base camp as far as I can tell. If it did, it would be fan-frickin-tastic. It doesn't. I don't think, anyway. It's not what the description read. Maybe I was just misreading it. Now, the Lagash demons are pretty much in the same place they always were. They're the Satyr, and we can just go around there and pick it up. Now, we're looking for this book, and this book is an interesting one because it's not 100% certain as to which book it is. They have a lot of books, apparently. They've been going on the novel larceny lately. Obsession with stealing them. Evil demonic kleptomaniacs. Really problematic, you know. You go into this area, you come off, and suddenly you realise you've lost a sock and 2 shoes. There we go. Now, once you do the polymorph, you just have to then kill them, and they can be one-shot because they turn into critters, so... I don't know why it's like, we could have just fought them, but that doesn't count. If they're not polymorphed, you don't get credit for the quest, so... We do what Archmage Xylem desires of us. Oh, lord. Okay, it's not that one. Now, like I said, the animation team and the art team must have had an absolute field day with this area because there are several different books, each of which do a wide variety of entertaining things. Let's go and have a look at this one. Perhaps this one is the correct one. It looks seemingly innocuous. Maybe not. A beam of pure void magic. I don't think we want that. Could stain the clothes. Terrible to get those things out, I tell you. Okay. This one, maybe. Oh, lord. It's pretty awesome, isn't it? Big fan of this quest, just for the sheer entertainment value. Now, they do correspond in terms of the colour to what they actually do. So the red ones are fiery, as you might imagine. And the blue one has the tentacle thing. The purple has the void ray. Not the StarCraft Void Ray. Although that would be fantastic. You click the one with the little Protoss symbol on it. Oh, lord. The little black one try and grab you and pull you into the netherworld. Yes. Protoss book with a Void Ray. A little bit too much cross-pollination of the lore there, I feel, but it would be very entertaining. And it would make the lore hounds really upset. think they were already quite annoyed by the even vague possibility that those pylons in Ungoro Crater were Protoss origin. There we go. Now, I thought maybe it just spawns in random places, but actually it doesn't. The ones that you look at do re-trigger, and you click on them again, they do exactly the same thing. So I'm going to skip forward a bit until we find the other one, because I don't believe there are any more special animations for this. I've got to look at that one just once more. So great. There we go. Okay. The one that sets on fire is apparently the right one. I don't know if it spawns in the same place every time. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Who knows? It'd be nice if it was randomized. Alright, I don't think you need to see me running all the way back there, so I think we can get rid of that as well. If there's one thing Azshara's good for, it's wasting your time with extremely long runs. Even with the Goblin Rocket Way installed, it still takes a while. It's funny, actually, the amount of times you actually use the Rocket Way, as far as I can tell, is fairly minimal. Maybe used it once, perhaps twice. It's just not being convenient otherwise. Okay, now things start to get interesting. So this, and indeed the quests following it, are extremely entertaining. And we need to complete all of them in order to actually find Azuragos. Azuragos? Azuragos? I don't know, it's an imaginary dragon. Who cares how it's pronounced? So, for the rest of this video, I shall call him Alfie. So we're going to go all the way over here to the Arcane Pinnacle, which I assume is a new area. I've never seen this before. And this is what I like to call the Sonic the Hedgehog quest. As to why? Well, it's a little bit of a platformer. Quite unique set of mechanics. Very gimmicky, but quite entertaining. So you have to ascend to the top of this pinnacle, and you have to get 6 energy charges as you go. You have to do that by clicking those little purple things that you will see around the area, and you need to ascend via using the jump pads. Yes, indeed, they are basically springs. Now, as I discovered, you can actually stack by repeatedly clicking this thing, but it is not the way to do it. This is actually a bad way to do it, especially if you then go and ignore the other ones as you go along. So let me show you me absolutely failing this, and then we can go on from there. So you see a little jump pad over in the corner there, so you've got to run on it, and that will then catapult you to the next area. However, you have to watch out for these arcane bombs that come down. If you get hit too many times by them, you will generally get knocked off the island into the water, and it is a long-ass swim all the way back. Trust me, you don't want that to happen. So, click on one of those. There we go. That'll renew the stack. Up we go. So things are going very, very well so far. For the time being, at any rate. As long as you touch that, you should get sprung over, but there's the problem. I actually ignored that. Like, hey, I've got plenty of stacks. I can ignore that safely. Don't ignore any of them, because if you do, then it'll end up ticking off, and you feel a bit dumb, like I do. Up we go, and oh god, I have no stacks, and they're just going to tick off. Very stupid indeed. So what I decided to do is to start restacking by simply re-clicking on this. That's a great idea, isn't it? No, not really. You get hit by this arcane bomb. The more times you get hit, the further you get flung. And as you see, I've got hit twice there. I'm going to hit once more. And things start to get a little bit unpleasant from here on in. Because there's no way... Ooh, very lucky there. I shouldn't have stuck around, honestly. This is where things start to go wrong. There you go. Catapulted all the way off the mountain. And it takes ages to get back. So I'm going to speed you up there, and I shall show you it done properly. Wunderbar. Now things start to get even more interesting because this entire pinnacle is full of gimmicky minigame quests, which are entertaining, although have a few problems, and it will be quite nice. Oh, okay, good lord, I'm complaining, I get the idea. Even the game's mocking me these days. Anyway, they are really fun. Unfortunately, they seem to be very sensitive to lag, and a lot of the things don't seem to work quite in the way they're supposed to, so just bear that in mind as I show these to you, and hopefully Blizz will have these all straightened out by the actual launch so that they are especially fun to do. So what you do is you click one of the 3 crystals to access one of the 3 trials. There's one of fire, there's one of frost, and there's one of shadow. Click a crystal, enter a portal, and you will be eventually teleported, once it works, to your trial. Now, this one is interesting. Basically, you have to get 10 stacks of fire dancing, and 10 stacks of fire dancing, and you have to do that by standing in one of these areas right here. Make sure you don't get hit by the flame, but once the flames pulse, they will give you the buff in question. So you've got to avoid those, and you'll see where the next fire is going to be because those little orbs dodge around everywhere, so almost screwed this up. In fact, I completely did. So we're on here right now. There we go. Now we can go to the left. The blue orb will bounce to the area that is consecutive to it, so once it's next to it, you can then move and you can see exactly where you need to go. If you're lucky, you can cross over to one that is nice and empty, and it might not even get done the next time. But whatever the case, it's not amazingly hard, but it's kind of confusing initially, and must attest to screwing this up a little bit, but once you get the hang of it, it's not that hard. You can also watch that apprentice right there, and that apprentice might give you some clues. Almost screwed that one up there, but we're good, just. And obviously you don't want to go around the edge of that. This area might be quite laggy for some people, just due to the sheer amount of particle effects that are going on, but it seems to be okay. So we can just stick around here if we so desire, or we can run in this direction. This should give us a few options. Stay here, that's good, or we could go to here, that also works. I'm not doing amazingly well here, am I? It's because if you end up hitting the flame, you don't get a stack, and then it'll just tick right off you. You don't have the time otherwise. Okay. We're good. We can just sit here. Ignore the dancing blood elf in the corner. Pay him no mind. This seems to be a fairly good area to be in. I could just move forward, follow the blood elf as much as you don't want to. The dancing is quite hypnotic. Now, where's he going? Oh, God. No. Did we get it? Did we get it? Maybe. No, possibly. Dear God. I'm terrible at this game. It's actually really confusing. Nerf, Blizz. Nerf. I am an entitled casual. Let's do it properly, shall we? Yes. Start off here. Follow the dancing blood elf if you get the opportunity to do so. There's one. We've got a nice, fairly clear corridor there by the looks of it. Just stay here. And then we can move to the next one. Let's say they don't make it as clear as they could, honestly. But you've got time to traverse one, by the looks of it, at normal running speed. So if you do end up in a situation where you're boxed in, you should be able to leg it. Or use the sprint, if you happen to have one, or any movement ability. It doesn't seem to care. There we go. Looks like we've got a nice, easy one right here. We'll get another stack right there, and there, done. I think I cheesed it a little bit there, but I think if you get an unlucky combination, you could be there for hours. Okay. What do we have next in our wonderful selection of Uther Party-style mini-games? If you don't know what that is, it's a Warcraft 3 custom map. It's gimmicky as hell. It's basically Mario Party in Warcraft 3, and some of it's kind of enjoyable. Now, this is where lag is going to get ya. Yes, I had problems with it. Right now, I'm pinging about 450 to the beta server, which is not that bad. I believe they host all their servers in Irvine, California, so it's unsurprising. So you stand on these frost runes and they will actually catapult you into the air. That can be annoying and also it can be kind of useful. So what you've got to do is you've got to collect those orbs that are floating around. You see the little white orbs, but not stand in the rotating frost rubbish. As to how you do that, well, just run in there. You can use the runes to actually jump above it, but if you're not careful, you'll end up running into a rune, and they're deceptively large, and they also respawn directly under you, which is really irritating, and you will end up losing stacks if you get hit by the frost thingies. What would you call them? I don't know, little curtains of frost going across. Right, okay, I shall show you the proper run of this after I've stopped bouncing around at random. So we've got one there. We don't want to run on that. Grab one of those. Easy enough done. Unfortunately, I'm going to lose a stack. Or am I? Because apparently you can jump over it. I think that was very lucky on my part. There's another one. We need to hit that rune, which took ages to activate there. And almost lost us a stack by the looks of it. Like I said, this is the problem with this area. A little bit of beta feedback. This is very, very lag sensitive. And you can end up running into runes that you don't see coming. You can end up getting hit by those curtains of frost and you're not actually anywhere near. You see, right there, I got hit by it. I wasn't even touched by it. So that might be something they want to work on. You do, thankfully, only lose one stack. The problem is you can take loads of hits within a couple of seconds if you're not careful. Okay, we're good there. There's the jump. No problem at all. So if you want to be really snazzy, use the runes to jump above it, and you shouldn't have a problem with it. Can avoid that. We're not going anywhere near. There we go. It didn't even pick that one up for whatever reason. I think I actually took a hit there. But I didn't take a hit there. I just, yeah, like I say, a little bit buggy. Needs a little bit of work. Very entertaining, certainly, and very original. A little bit gimmicky, but does need a little bit of work. There we go. Surely that will be fine. Fantastic. Almost got it. There's probably achievements based on this. See, that didn't even go off. And I ended up losing a stack because it lagged. Ugh, wondrous. Almost got it, though. Not too many more to go. Except, yeah. You see my point. So eventually I did beat it. Regardless of the lag and the bugs, and now on to the Trial of Shadow. This one is a little bit better in terms of how stable and how reliable it is, although there are still a couple of issues. Like the fact that these traps don't appear to be as large as their icons on the ground, which means you think you've got one of the evil creatures into the traps, but you don't. So what happens is, from these portals, you will get these weeping souls. If they hit you, you lose a stack of shadow bait. If you get one in a trap, you gain a stack of shadow bait. And you've got to lure them into these traps. They will come directly at you in a straight line. So it's usually best to start near the altar, and they will come at increasing frequency. Annoyingly enough, and this is something I think they do need to phase to stop this from happening, you can also do it with other players here, which means you can get incredibly confused as to which of these is yours and which isn't. So you'll end up with loads of these. Now, you saw that one right there pass directly over the rune for no apparent reason whatsoever, so I'm losing a bunch of stacks there. I'm going to kite him around here. Like I said, it doesn't appear that these runes are as large as they actually are on the ground, so if it ends up traveling through the edge of it, it won't disappear. I don't know, I mean, I saw the first one travel through the middle and it's still bugged out, so I don't really know. Whatever the case, no doubt this will all be fixed for launch, so there's not too much to really worry about here. And it's kind of fun, like I say, and no doubt there will be achievements for it, if there aren't already, for not screwing up. That will be kind of cool. Aha, see, getting a bit snazzy now. Oh god, got hit. Don't even have to be in range. Like I say, with the latency, they're actually further forward than they appear, so you end up getting hit from a good few yards away. Anyway, that's how that one works. I don't think you need to see all of it, so we'll just skip the rest of it. I definitely appreciate the effort that Blizzard's put in here to actually put some unique mechanics and sort of gimmicky minigames to break up the usual monotony of leveling. It does make doing the Azshara quests a lot more enjoyable. And I can sort of forgive them for the hippogriff thing. Now, where? Tell me, where is Alfie? We'll find him, eventually. So we need to go through the portal, which, as I should have guessed, is actually that one. Duh. Not thinking straight. Bear's head. No idea where that is. So we're heading to his retreat to take a break. Or are we? Alfie is a tricky sort, as you will see. Finally tracked him down. He's a little weird. I think he's gone a little bit deranged after all of those slayings and all of the typhoons he dropped. Where am I going? All the way around here. Is he hiding in the bush? No. Is he hiding in the tree? No. Is he that rabbit? Actually, no, he isn't, which I found fairly disappointing. Aha. Wunderbar. We'll speak to the reagent vendor. She will surely tell us where we need to go. And give us nice, fat loot. Always good. Ding! Level 20. Excellent. I can get pick lock, which is going to be extremely useful. Or more to the point, I can get my little goblin go-kart thing. I will get that in the next video. That will help with the travelling somewhat, I must say. Considering the size of Azshara. Switch over to some boots that don't suck. That might be something they want to look at as well. Just the sheer amount of time it seems to take to get the items in order to upgrade the stuff you got in the bloody Lost Isles. Oh, well, great. That wasn't even my fault this time. I love the ham acting. Mysterious. Oh, hi, Alfie. There you are. What the hell are you doing here? You should have expected it. He was hanging around a lot as a spirit form back in the old world as well. I suppose it was obvious to an old world raider, or it should have been. Dragonface.jpg.
You seek Azuragos, Bane of the Bitter Reaches, Scourge of the Bay of Storms, Lord of all magic in Azshara? Well, you found him.
So Kalagos kind of sent me to find you. Could you sort of help us not die horribly?
Kalagos, that's your good foot forward. Good luck with that one, buddy.
No. You don't understand. I'm here to help.
Of course you are, here to save Big Blue from himself, spending all his time in the spirit world, obsessing over magical artifacts. Calic doesn't understand, though. I've turned over a new leaf. I've met someone.
Met someone? I didn't know there were any other dragons out here.
The dragon? Don't be ridiculous. You know, Goblin, you're awfully rude. She's standing right here.
The spirit healer?
She has a name, you know. Azshara. You do well to treat her with the respect she deserves. How many times have she and her sisters brought you back from the grip of death itself? You're just all kinds of inconsiderate, aren't you?
Oh, God, I'm sorry, and didn't mean to be rude,
I know. We could never be, right? Dragon and spirit healer, two different worlds, not to mention the physiological problems, but you're wrong! We have a deeper connection than that, Azshara and I. We're involved. Besides, I kind of like it here. No adventurers to poke and prod me with no provocation.
Look, Alfie, seriously, that was not what I was saying at all.
Well, get to it then. You're the one veering off onto all these unnecessary topics.
Oh, forget it. I'm here to warn you that the Black Dragonflight is here hunting you.
Oh, that. Thought I hadn't noticed the scorched earth and senseless slaughter that usually give them away. I'm not that old.
Oh, you already know. Well, why don't you go and stop them then?
Why bother? It's not like they actually have the slightest clue where I am. They're not going to do any harm to the already found artifacts around here. Anyway, one of the most amusingly convenient things about evil and destruction is that they tend to just evilly destruct each other eventually.
But Kalagos is already out there trying to stop them. He needs your help.
He's going after them. And he sent you to ask me for help? Was there begging? Were there tears? You know, if I came to his rescue, there's no way he could ever live it down. Maybe he'd make me one of those little Sunwell girls of my very own. No offense, Nara.
Oh, you'll come then?
Yeah, I'll come to his rescue. Don't you fall into his little center of the world. Here a bit, though. He just likes the attention, I swear. He thinks he's going to be the next aspect. It's laughable.
Okay, I'm gonna let him know right away. Meet us at Sable Ridge.
Yeah, I'm on my way. Don't get your chain panties in a bunch.
You know, if they eventually voice act that dude and he doesn't sound like that, only 10 times better by an actual real voice actor, I'm gonna be sorely disappointed. Okay, let's get rezzed, shall we? I better not have to pay for this. Oh, it's okay. This one's on the house, thank God. And no res sickness. Hang on. So, you're saying you could do this all the time, without any problems whatsoever? There need be no res sickness at all? And you don't do it because you just like being dicks. Okay! News just in, folks. Spirit healers are the worst things in the world ever. Some evil, nasty race of giant flying pixies. Ugh. Disgraceful. I think we're about done for today, folks. I need to go get my hot rod, I think. My name's been TotalBiscuit, and that has been complete and total nonsense. I'll see you next time.